It's Coach Cal, and I'm here to present to you the Flexingtons, presented by RichieLanza. Go Big Blue!
Tuesday, November 21st. Big Blue Nation was shaking. RichieLanza checking back in for another special double edition of the Flexingtons. Happy Thanksgiving. Only one episode this week, but we got 2 games to cover. Lots of NBA topics to discuss. And this one's going to be a jam-packed episode. And let's ride. Normally we have at least a 20-minute breakdown on a game. There's usually just one game to cover per episode. With the fact that there's 2, however, for this episode, we'll get more in depth on the game that actually was closer, the game that went into overtime, no secret. We have 2 games to cover, and the first one is a bigger blowout, and that's Stonehill. Friday night last week, second year in Division 1, Stonehill, which I believe was in Mass. Wow, I already forgot. It's either North Carolina or Massachusetts. I feel pretty good that it's in Mass, and we're going to keep going. So, obviously, Kentucky media-wise, everyone's calling this the Reed-Sheppard game. But I don't want to call it the Reed-Sheppard game. I feel like Reed has a bigger game under his belt down the road versus a more notable program. No shade to Stonehill, but Reed-Sheppard out there just looked like... what's a great comparison? He looked like Jason Kidd, but with a better jump shot. It's no secret. In the Cal era, this was the most 3-pointers made in a game. And that is what I feel like is the most important take back from this game overall, not just Reed-Sheppard going crazy. Of course, I'm going to speak through all of our core 8 guys. And of course, we'll start with Reed-Sheppard. Reed-Sheppard finished the game with the highest plus minus by far. There's just a pattern that it seems to go each and every game, no matter how much burn Reed-Sheppard gets, he finds himself on top of the plus minus, and this is a stat that I know can be obscure, especially in late minutes of a game that's not close. But Reed-Sheppard is just a cheat code, basically. He makes the right decisions. He has no ego. He stuffs the stat sheet on both sides of the ball. He's great at reading telegraph passes off the ball. He has quick hands on the ball. And, of course, we'll break through his, box score real quick. Reed had 26 minutes, plus 42, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. We're going to speak on Reed after the second game on where he stands on the team stat-wise, and it's actually unbelievable how stacked and deep our team is with a lot of pro NBA aspirations, with maybe or maybe not Reed being a part of that, and he is just leading the team in pretty much every important statistic overall. But to continue, 9 for 10 from the field, 7 from 8 from 3. Reed had a great game shooting, obviously. 7 threes is serious, especially in college, especially for someone who doesn't even start. Just remember, this is someone that comes off the bench. And he came off the bench and got 2 blocks, 3 steals, 7 assists, 25 points, and 7 3-pointers. Reed is someone who takes care of the ball. When it's a turnover, it's kind of like one of those rare situations where someone special like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady throws an interception. It shows that they're human, but it is a head scratcher at the same time because we are so accustomed to Reed-Sheppard protecting the ball and pretty much throwing a perfect game with a baseball analogy on top of that football one. But moving on, we have more to speak on Reed. We have a second game to get to, but I can't wait to share that stat with you, so stay tuned. But next, here we go. We're going to go in order by plus minus. As far as my opinion goes on plus minus, that order will say a lot more than just who had the most points overall in the game. The plus minus shows kind of how the team played with you on the court on both sides of the ball. Next, Behind Reed's plus 42, we got Rob Dillingham. That's why I said Rob. We have Rob Dillingham with plus 27. Another player comes off the bench. Plus 27, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 3 for 6 from 3. Rob is very efficient at shooting 3-pointers. He doesn't take too many. He definitely should and can take more. I feel like every 3 he takes, there are moments where it is a little like off the dribble, a little off balance, but that's Rob's specialty. That's how he practices. And he doesn't really practice shooting as far as being wide open. He practiced shooting as far as real game moments and real game scenarios. And that's what I find interesting about Rob. Whereas in the St. Joseph's game is a great 3-point performance by Rob, where we see him shoot a 3 in transition off the dribble, and we see him catch and shoot a 3. There is no weakness to Rob Dillingham offensively. He has a great mid-range. His 3-point is insane. He has the best handle in the Cal era. And there's a long list of special point guards, which is no secret to our fan base. And for Rob to have the best handle is really saying something. Next, at plus 23, Trey Mitchell, basically the heart and soul of our team right now. Besides Adu and JB, who barely plays, this is our only man that can guard a true center. I mean, JB can try, but weight-wise, he's going to struggle. And Adu is just a little short to guard a 7-footer. Trey Mitchell is the most valuable player on our team right now by far. If he were to hypothetically go down, we would literally look like a completely different team in a scenario where the Jets lose Aaron Rodgers and the whole, plan for the season kind of takes a detour. I wanted to speak on this later, but let's just get it out of the way. As far as Aaron Bradshaw goes, it was projected he'd be back later this week for our Marshall game on Friday. Still no update. There's been reports from guys like Jack Pilgrim saying it may be a longer wait, which is not good because this Miami game is approaching. It's a week from today, and it's not looking good that Aaron Bradshaw would be in that game, unfortunately. But back to Trey. Finished with 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Kind of more of a guard-oriented game. And as mentioned earlier, it's just the 3-point performance that will be remembered. 17 3-pointers for 32 attempts, 53%. And we'll touch on the percentage in our more recent St. Joe's game later this episode. This shooting performance was something to remember. If you were to tell me, 5 to 10 years ago, Coach Cal was going to allow 32 3-point attempts, I'd be like, yeah, right. Who do we have on our team? Steph Curry? You know what I'm saying? Like, this team is just jam-packed of shooters. We got guys like Jordan Burks on the bench who has to play the 5 that are actually strong shooters as well that will probably never have to use their shooting outside, right? I really feel like this year, with the way modern college and NBA basketball is heading towards, 3-pointers being a lot more valued, a lot more normalized, and getting shots up, John Welsh is really showing that he can open Coach Cal's eyes and show, yes, if we eliminate, 10 to 15 footers and just shoot layups and 3-pointers and get to the free throw line and knock down, we can be a real efficient team. And with this team and all the guards and all the passing skills and dribble drive opportunities, with 3 guard lineups out there, or even 4 guard lineups, it's going to be impossible to guard the 3-point line against us. And that's with us not even having a big man presence. We're approaching that. No update on Big Z yet. Unfortunately, Big Z is kind of like an anomaly right now. We see his body there. He looks like a specimen. He looks like a unicorn, and we can't even entertain the fact, is he going to play today? It's not even like a Shaden Sharp situation where this might be the week. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might get bad news. It's not even that this might be the week that he gets eligible. This might be the week we get bad news that he won't be eligible, similar to Enes Kanter. And I am not looking forward to any more bad news in my life right now. Antonio had 21 plus minus 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 for 6 from 3 in 27 minutes. I mean, Tone is, it speaks for himself. He's going to be consistent. He's going to put up shots, and he's going to do anything he can to get the victory. I feel like in the St. Joseph's game, I'm kind of spoiling something. Antonio got benched in overtime with 2.5 minutes left, and I was watching his body language. I mean, obviously, he wants to be out there. He wants to be a part of it. He's a strong free throw shooter. He has the experience. He's older than these freshmen, etc. It seemed like he had the right mentality. It didn't seem like he was being egotistical. It didn't seem like he was out there pouting, not playing. He was more so excited that we're about to get the victory, and we got the job done. Antonio Reeves is more of a quiet guy on and off the court, but he's somebody who we need to keep locked in. And I feel like with our guards, it's kind of hard to please everybody. You know what I'm saying? We can't play everybody together. Reed Shepherd deserves playing time. DJ Wagner, to this point, who we didn't even speak on yet, he didn't have a good game. He hasn't had a good game in his Kentucky career yet at this point. It's hard to please everybody. You got to start DJ. You can't bench him. You can't put him in a bad mental space where he's thinking he's losing his job or he's not good enough or etc. Coach Cal likes to keep his players, positive and keep them, starting is a big deal for Coach Cal. Obviously, minutes can change. You can start and come right off the floor within a minute and a half, right? Where I'm going at with this is it's hard to please everybody. We got guys that think they're lottery. We got guys that were, top elite freshman prospects. And unfortunately, we got other lottery guys on our team too. So it's going to be interesting to see how the minutes get distributed with Aaron Bradshaw getting back, with Big Z hopefully getting eligibility. Because right now it's already a little difficult to please everybody, and it's only going to get harder. Next. Plus 21 as well. Believe it or not, within 15 minutes only playing, Jordan Burks had a plus 21. Just 2 points, 4 rebounds. JB is taking a back seat this year. He has a big decision to make if he wants to be a part of next year's team, who already has big man committed, who already has the possibility of somebody like Ugo, Big Z, probably not Aaron Bradshaw, but even Aaron Bradshaw returning. Not to be negative at all, because I like Jordan Burks. I want him on this year's team and next year's team. This is something that you can kind of see the writing on the wall, that unfortunately with him never gonna play half of a game, which isn't even a lot to these guys, with real minutes being played, with Aaron Bradshaw coming back, his minutes are only gonna dwindle even more than what he's getting. Unfortunately, Jordan Burks, I hope you stay, but it's looking like he's going to be one of these guys that got away, that found success somewhere else, and we're going to miss him. We don't necessarily need him this year or next year. Right now, he's super valuable without having a center. I just mean fully healthy, with next year's incoming class in the back of our minds. Unfortunately, JB he's not valuable for us to really be giving him a lot of opportunity this year for a long-term investment, because if I'm out here thinking that, there's no way that the staff in the program isn't thinking that too, seeing it firsthand. Next is Adu Thero, plus 19, 26 minutes, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block. We're about to fast forward a little bit, because we have not only a second game to get to and do the same exact thing, we got plenty of other topics to touch on. So we touched on our top performers for this game. Now we're towards the bottom of the list. Clearly, Adu had 6 points. So next, plus 14, DJ Wagner. As mentioned, he had an underwhelming game. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 for 8 from 3. This was something he was a part of to contribute to the 17 three-pointers for the game, for a record for Coach Cal in the Cal era. But unfortunately, he's just not, at this moment in time, looking comfortable, looking like we expected him to be. Rob. We already spoke on Rob. Next. Who else is last? +4. Justin Edwards, another disappointment up until this time. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 0 for 3 from 3. Literally the bottom tier plus minus player. For a game we won by over 30, he was only +4 with 23 minutes. That's a problem. And that's something that hopefully we'll see go in the right direction. And we're going to speak on the St. Joseph's game. I just figured it would have been kind of boring to go back-to-back games and speaking on similar situations, names, etc. We got some other topics to switch to right now before we return back to the St. Joseph's. But Kentucky wins comfortably and defeats Stonehill 101-67. We got a toilet take, and it's a J. Will toilet take. J. Will is one of the few Duke alum who I actually respect. He's usually one of these guys when something serious is going on or even something simple as ball is being discussed. I listen, I be quiet, I value his opinion. And instead of me speaking on it first, let me show you the clip during the Indiana game on Sunday.
Versus Louisville, something that stands out from that game is Milt Wagner, who played at Louisville, one of their top players of all time. You know, his grandson, DJ Wagner, plays for Kentucky, and you know, there are a lot of guards on Kentucky's roster who are really good. They can go, and you wonder how that situation plays out over time. Sure. Does DJ find himself back out at Louisville? I'm not saying that he can't be a star for Kentucky because he might, but it always leaves things out there. You're wondering, kids just, if things aren't going their way, they'll get out and go somewhere else.
A lot to unpack there. At first it sounds stupid because, DJ's pops was coach for Coach Cal pretty much his whole career up until recently in his senior year of high school. We thought any other team had no chance until Milt Wagner took that job, DJ's grandpa, at Louisville, right? But being at Kentucky now, what has changed? DJ is our starting point guard. He's getting maybe a little less burn than he, really thought he would, but he's still a huge part of the team. He hasn't had any great games at this moment. I feel like Jay Will was either one, taking a, educated guess on what he's looking at on a Kentucky team that is stacked at the guard position, or was he behind the scenes? Was he with Milt Wagner? Did he hear it from Kenny Payne? Did he hear it from somebody who is, connected in Louisville's program? Who knows? At first, I didn't want to even speak on this, but it is something to, just keep tabs on. And fortunately, we have good news because after this was recorded, we have our more recent St. Joe's game, and for a spoiler, DJ Wagner had a great game. But to finish off on this, we'll keep a close eye on this. Hopefully, Jay Will isn't just trolling. I don't know if, being a Duke guy, what his motives towards Kentucky is. I don't know if he has any ulterior motives versus UK against us. But down the road, we'll be able to confirm if this had any type of truth to it. And we'll remember we spoke on it on here.
You need to leave.
So recently on Instagram, I seen this graphic. We're just going to assume that it's 100% accurate. And basically, it was just describing all 50 states in the country's favorite sport overall by majority, as stated. And what I found very interesting, that one, how many states, including my own in New York, still pay attention to baseball, majority wise. Like, obviously, we have basketball, NFL, and hockey, and somehow baseball still is the king in New York. I found that very interesting. And same with Cali, actually. Cali, Texas, and New York, all baseball. Obviously, in the South, we got college football all over the place. Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and then states like Michigan. I think that's Iowa. I want to say that's Iowa, and then Idaho. NFL is sprinkled all over Washington, Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maine, North Carolina, Florida, all NFL. But where is NHL? There's got to be some. Let me see. We got New England area, so Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont. Also, Nevada and Colorado. Is that Colorado? Oh, no, there's no way that's Colorado. Whatever's above Colorado is also NHL. All right, so obviously, wow, I just realized this probably is just terrible if you can't physically see this, but where I'm going now with this is there's a purpose to my madness, right? And it's Kentucky. Kentucky is the only state out of all 50 to have college basketball as their predominantly most popular sport. And I found that interesting. I thought maybe like Kansas would be in there, but no, we really are just built different. And I shared this on my Instagram a few days ago, but I wanted to speak on it on the airwaves on why our fan base is just different, why it means more to us, and why out of every state we're the only one we stand alone. And I love that for us. Vegas has updated their college basketball rankings, and so has the AP polls. Yesterday, we clocked in at 16th in the nation, back at 16 from preseason, and honestly, I'm not mad at it. We just came off a loss last week. Wasn't really expecting much of a jump, if any, and the fact that we didn't move down, I'll take it. We got plenty of season left to get to when you lose to the number one team in the nation. Obviously, it's not going to help your rank. But what's very interesting is Vegas has also updated their college basketball champs for this season. And we're tied for first for the best odds. Kansas and Kentucky are tied for first with plus 1,000. Purdue plus 1,100. Duke plus 13. Arizona 16, UConn 16, Michigan State 1,800, Marquette 1,800, Houston 2 bands, Tennessee 2 bands. We literally have the best odds in the nation to win it all, and that's without a center. It's something to pay attention to as we get more games and more of a sample space of stats. We'll really see our true ranking in KenPom prior to us really cracking into the top 5 where we deserve. Switching over to NBA real quick, we're just going to combine all these NBA topics I'm trying to speak on. Shout out De'Aaron Fox last week, Western Conference Player of the Week. It's pretty crazy how we've already had Tyrese week 1 for the East, and now I believe this is week 4 that just ended, and we got De'Aaron Fox as Player of the Week for the West. We're just stacked if we just go through all of our guys. It's pretty tough to really speak on everyone every episode. It's more so who stuck out the most. Next, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Playing unbelievable, playing like the first team All-NBA player he was last year in the clutch, taking down Golden State with the help of Chet Holmgren, hitting one of the more clutch shots I've seen a rookie take this early on in his career. For the circumstances, for the venue, for the team, for the crowd, etc. To do it versus Steph Curry and the Warriors, Chet Holmgren hit a clutch shot to force overtime where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got to give the Warriors multiple daggers. His presence on the court is just, he just looks comfortable out there. Obviously, all these guys are quote unquote professionals, but this guy looks like a sommelier amongst a bunch of wine drinkers. Next, Bam Adebayo being named Miami's captain, and this is huge. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is one of these guys who, assumingly so would be the captain of the team, the face of the team, the voice of the team, the leader, etc. For Bam to take on this role, it says a lot. It says a lot because the Heat have had Udonis Haslem as their captain for 15 plus years at a minimum. For Bam to take on that role, it's a huge deal. It's something that they're looking long term, and obviously we don't want to see Tyler or Bam leave Miami. Miami has turned it around. They just recently broke a 7-game winning streak to Chicago, but they just beat them the following game in Chicago. Miami has found themselves towards the top of the East. I believe it's 3rd or 4th right now, and I feel really confident in saying that we're going in the right direction. And when I say we, if you didn't know, yes, I'm a Miami Heat fan, and I'm really excited to see everything come to fruition. Possibly we're going to trade for a big name, hopefully get rid of Lowry. Jaime Jaquez is, thriving before our eyes. And Tyler Hero and Bam obviously speak for themselves because they're dogs. Next, Julius Randle. Julius came out the gates this season cold. First 6 games, sub 20 points. A lot of Knicks fans, in the New York media, if you are supposed to be the guy and you have an off game, you have an off week, you have a little drought, best believe it gets crazy on social media. And shout outs to wifey of Julius Randle. I'm drawing a blank of her first name. I think it's Kendra. Anyways, Kentucky native Kendra Randle, if that's her name, forgive me if it's not, posted the most recent 7-game stretch from Julius Randle, who not only has surpassed 20 points in each and every game, which he didn't do in the first 6 games, he's averaging about 9 rebounds a game and getting 7-8 rebounds in the mix of it too, coming damn near a triple-double every game. Julius Randle is pretty much a huge part of the Knicks' success with them adding Brunson last year. Obviously, he was able to find more help. He may have found himself being the Robin when he thought he was Batman, but regardless of what the role is, the Knicks have multiple cats on the team that will be covering. I'm pretty sure they're 5th in the East right now. They're going to be in the mix. And big ups to Julius Randle for getting out of that slump of a start, but really turning it around for him in the Knicks. To finish up on our NBA Cats, we have NBA.com's updated MVP ladder. Top 10 starting from 10. We got Sabonis. We got our own Bam Adebayo at number 9. Next at number 8, we got our own Tyrese Maxey. Believe it or not, Tyrese Maxey is in the top 10 for the MVP ladder right now. Crazy. Number 7, Tyrese Halliburton. Number 6, and Edwards. And number 5, our very own Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 4 is Tatum, 3 is Embiid, 2 is Luka, and 1 is Jokic. What I find interesting when off the rip you just hear, what cats do you think are in the MVP ladder? Not only do you not think of Tyrese Maxey, but you probably think AD might be in there, Booker might be in there. No, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander currently in 5th, proving he's a first-team All-NBA, like I said earlier. He's going for it back-to-back, but this year he's going for something different. I feel like MVP is a long run, but I do love updating y'all on our cats on their form, who's trending up, who's trending down. And right now, we have 3 Kentucky alumni in the top 10 MVP NBA rankings.
Ya no me enojo contigo, solo observo y pienso. Me decepcionó y me alejó más de ti, porque yo ya no quiero sufrir, quiero ser feliz.
Last night, Kentucky took on and hosted St. Joseph's in Rupp Arena. Coming into the game, we didn't really know what to expect because we had multiple opponents that St. Joseph's had already played that we have this year. They lost to Texas A&M Commerce by 4 when we beat them by 20, but they also beat the brakes off Stonehill even worse than we did by over 50 points. So coming into the game, 15-point favored, it didn't really seem very promising, but at the same time, it seemed like a good line. But boy, was Vegas wrong, and most of Kentucky fans most likely, because St. Joseph showed up. Not only did they compete with us, but they never really let us run away with it. It was always a close game. They had big physical 7-footers where Trey Mitchell was going to have to somehow physically grow on the court, which is obviously not possible. We, fought through adversity, being undermanned, undersized, not hitting free throws late in the game. You know what I'm saying? Justin Edwards does not. He either loses his bounce after the first 5 minutes of the game, or he just really doesn't have any. But he misses too many easy dunks. He did the same thing versus Kansas. Under the hoop, directly under the hoop, where it's just a jump and one-handed yam. And he can't finish this. I'm sure he's done it thousands of times, but for whatever reason, he's not giving the effort to finish and actually get the bucket, and it's very frustrating. We're going to go through the game, but of course, let's just talk about not cracking under pressure. Obviously, we come into the game ranked. St. Joe's is their first time ever playing in Rupp. Obviously, they're shooting the lights out as most non-conference opponents do in Rupp, but there's no excuse. We finished the game off strong. Trey Mitchell came into overtime only 2 for 8 from 3, but knocked down 2 clutch threes in overtime, which got us over the top. We're going to go through our players, obviously, as I normally do, but what I found very interesting was, once again, Reed Shepherd leads the team in the plus-minus, where the opponent was a lot more fit to verse us than a Stonehill. But how did Reed Shepherd have 0 points and still lead us in plus-minus? It comes to show that he just needs to be on the floor. Matt Jones has been preaching that him and or Antonio Reeves has to be on the floor at all times. We need to have a knockdown shooter to spread the floor out and, cause a threat at the three-point line. I don't necessarily disagree, but I do feel like Rob is just as good a shooter as those guys. I really do. I mean, this may not be as orthodox and pretty, but I really think he is even hotter and streakier when his jump shot is on. Rob Dillingham is a nightmare for defenses, especially if he's hot from deep, because once he gets you playing tight, he's just going to run and dribble right around you. But Reed Shepherd, back-to-back, leading the team in plus-minus. It actually might be 3 games in a row at this point, and it's just showing that he's a gamer. He did have a late turnover, which did hurt us in overtime, but it ended up not being the main, it wasn't the reason why we could have lost, because we took care of business. And I think St. Joseph's play out of their minds. Their guard play was pretty good. And at the end of the day, we took care of business and we finished and beat St. Joe's in OT 96-88. Another game damn near over 50% again at 48%, 12 for 25. We didn't surpass the 33 attempt this game, but we're still looking like a 3-point shooting team, and that is going to be nightmares for teams. If we remain to shoot in the high 40s, low 50% from 3, is unguardable, because once the addition of Aaron Bradshaw is complemented with this rotation and with these shooters, it's a wrap, because we won't be getting out rebounded every game, and we won't be going into every front court matchup undersized. But to finish off with Reed, plus 16 as mentioned, 25 minutes. 0 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 steals. 5 steals definitely jumps off the page. It's one of 3 stat lines that I circled out of all of our core 8 players. Next, 7 and plus minus, plus 7, DJ Wagner, finally. I gave a little tease earlier. DJ Wagner finally had his game. 35 minutes, 22 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, knocking down 1 3-pointer. DJ Wagner has a dog in him, and I feel like we just need to finally wait long enough. Time, perseverance, and DJ Wagner is going to be unguardable. With the addition of Reeves, Rob, or Reed next to him on the wing, it's going to be a nightmare for teams, right? I just feel like we have to grow on our perimeter defense, because as good as we've seen Reed on the defense, perimeter-wise, that's pretty much it. We haven't seen anyone else capable of playing great defense perimeter-wise. Adu, Thero, I feel like we kind of gassed him a little bit on being such a strong defender. He's definitely one of our stronger defenders, but maybe he's not as locked down as we thought. We need to get in the lab, lock in on defense, and focus more on defense. I feel like if we, enhance our defense, we just put up 96 points. Scoring and offense is not the issue. We need to lock in on defense, and once we have bigger bodies, it'll be much easier to not only control the glass, but stop the other team from getting second chance points. Next at +6, we got to do Thero. 30 minutes, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. Our Swiss Army knife to a team that was definitely bigger and more physical than us. Adu is just so valuable for somebody who can help Trey Mitchell try not to get so fatigued. Because this game, especially our big men, Adu and Trey specifically, just looked fatigued. And towards the end of the game, obviously Trey Mitchell wasn't hurting him free throw wise for shooting threes, but just defense and rebound intensity just looked a little deflated. And we're fiending for Big Z and or Aaron Bradshaw to join our brothers. Next, Trey Mitchell +5. 41 minutes, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Circled this stat right here, 4 blocks, 4 3-pointers, 4 to 10. 4 blocks is different. And being undersized as a center, being able to still get block shots, shows that Trey knows what he's doing and he's giving it his all on defense. Inject this into my veins. And next, Antonio Reeves, +4, 31 minutes, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 3 for 3 from 3-point range. Antonio Reeves is our best shooter. For him to go perfect 3 for 3 for the game, obviously we're going to win if this happens anytime. I don't see us losing whenever our best shooter is going 100% from 3. Next, Rob Dillingham, 25 minutes, +4, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 for 3. From long range. 6 assists says a lot. Rob Dillingham came into the team with a lot of speculation if he was really that egotistical, selfish, rock star type of a player, and he's showing not only is he willing to make the right pass in transition like he did in Kansas after having the hot hand hitting 3 threes in a row, he's more than willing to get 6 assists in a game, and I feel like there will be a game where Rob gets a double-double with 10 assists. Believe it or not, just in 6 minutes, Jordan Burks didn't finish last in plus-minus, and he only had 1 rebound and 1 block to register for the game. In 6 minutes of play, obviously the statistics aren't going to pile up. Jordan Burks is finding himself losing minutes each game, and with our centers approaching to eligibility and being healthy, I mentioned earlier I'm a little nervous for Jordan Burks' future, and pretty much just what I got to say for this, just enjoy him while we got him. He could be one of those guys that don't make it NBA-wise or professional-wise, but he's also one of these guys that can. He could find himself in a good opportunity with a good coach, with the perfect roster where he can find himself in rotation to get some burn. Keep your eye on Jordan Burks because we haven't got to see his full potential. He was overtime elites highest scorer in the league last year, and he's sitting on our bench this year. It's a little bit of a head scratcher when we have no big man besides Trey, and Jordan Burks is just sitting there, but Trey is just so well-rounded and, important. Putting them next to each other on the court don't really complement each other too much, and neither of these guys are below the rim block big man, so we're basically playing 5 out with 2 big men being out, and that's why they barely get to play together. And with Aaron Bradshaw coming back, maybe somehow when Trey's getting a breather, Jordan can play the 4 with Aaron and maybe get to play his role where he is best at, that we have yet to see. And last, -5. A top projected pick in this upcoming draft, Justin Edwards, 28 minutes, -5. When we win by 8, 28 minutes, -5. When we win by 8, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 for 3 from 3 is the only positive thing I can say about Justin. Him to go 60% from 3 is something for him to lay in bed and think all right, at least I did that good today. But right now, Justin Edwards got the yips. I feel like he's a step behind. He isn't the best player on the floor like he should be every game. He can't finish routine dunks like stated earlier. Justin Edwards, man. I don't know if he just needs more time watching film. One-to-one coaching. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if he's nervous. But right now, we need Justin Edwards to turn it around because he should be our best player. And he has yet to crack the top 5 best players in any of our games. Not here to just, throw shade and put him down. We need him expeditiously. And all I know is we're approaching an hour. Don't want it to get too lengthy, but we do need to speak on Marshall. Marshall is 2-2 at the moment, and we're taking them on Friday night in Rupp. They're actually currently playing a game at Oakland, and they're losing 67-75 in the second half. Approaching 2-3, where it's looking like Marshall's going to be 2-3, where it's time to tip off versus us on Friday. But let's go through their schedule. First game, they beat Queens University by 16. Next, they lost to Radford by 4. Whoever that is. Next, at Utah State, they lost by 23. Bad beat. Utah State. That should say a lot right there, right? Next, versus FIU Florida International, they won by 11. And as mentioned earlier, right now, currently, losing to Oakland State. It's actually 12 seconds left in the game, and they brought it to 7. But Marshall's going to be 2-3 when it's time to play us. I'm not about to break down their roster, but I did want to speak on what to expect. Our line is going to look like a big one. I have not covered the last 3 Kentucky games. It's very upsetting, and it's time to stop. Hopefully I follow through on that, and we'll probably hear more from that in the future. But let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for stopping by for another episode. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. I hope you get to eat all the fixings, all the sides, plenty of gravy, and watch some football. Day after, Kentucky's going to take down Marshall, continue this little winning streak we got going on, and then we'll lock in for Miami. It's RichieLanza checking out. Looking forward to giving you a Miami preview and a Marshall victory recap on next episode. Let's go, Cats.